What is going on, guys? Grave here. Today, let's talk about something from the Week 3 public test server patch notes that a lot of people were excited about, or at least happy to see, and that is ZOS reverting some of their changes from the Week 1 public test server about how you're going to gain Ultimate. The Ultimate gain Week 1 PTS was not really well received, and I think ZOS realized that and decided to go back with some changes. It's not going to be exactly like it was or exactly like it is right now, but it is a bit better than what they were doing. So they said, based on player feedback earlier in the PTS cycle, we have reverted the Week 1 adjustments to Class Ultimate Generation passives. Now all generate a unique form of Ultimate again. However, these effects put a similar passives on cooldown, so they cannot be stacked. So like I said, it's not exactly like we have right now, but it's better than what they were going to do. Effects, of course, the following: Prism, Transfer, Mountain's Blessing, Savage Beast, Outcome, and Corpse Consumption. The cooldown works by taking the first effect to activate and using the cooldown of that effect to prevent any of these other effects, including itself, from activating for the listed duration. If you have Corpse Consumption and Prism and trigger Corpse Consumption first, you will not be able to trigger either for 16 seconds. If you trigger Prism after the cooldown window, the next cooldown would be 6 seconds. Now, after they announced this, of course, in the Week 3 public test server, there were a lot of people in the community happy with the change. Like I said, it's a lot better than what they were going to do, what they discussed in Week 1. Week 1 was pretty much going to kill Ultimate regeneration, really going to kill a lot of healing builds. I talked about that in Week 1, saying that I have one healing build that was made just for Ultimate regen, and this pretty much was going to destroy it. What they have done is better, in my opinion, of course, than what they had originally in Week 1, but it's still not where we were or where we are right now in game. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get any more changes to this. They kind of met the community somewhat in the middle on this one after a lot of feedback from the community. And it seems like the update 47 feedback has been received a bit differently by ZOS, in my opinion. A lot of updates over the years have really upset the community. When it gets in the public test server, the patch notes come out. A lot in the community, or a lot of people in the community, are really upset with changes. And you really don't see a lot of things being walked back by ZOS. They just kind of leave it alone. They might give you a developer note at some point that says, we're just doing it pretty much, and this is why. And you don't really get a lot of explanation. This time it seems like ZOS is really taking this feedback and kind of building on it with the community, either giving examples of why they're changing it, starting to adjust some of the things according to feedback, and kind of meeting the community, like I said, somewhat in the middle on some of these changes that they had in Week 1 of the public test server for update 47, and kind of where we're at now. So that's a really good sign. I talked about this in a past video, saying that ZOS is starting to listen, and I know they're not listening about everything. I still wish they would change the Nightblade back, or go back and readjust how they did the Nightblade changes, because I really don't agree with those either. But overall, I'm glad they're starting to listen, and the main reason is I want them to continue to listen to the community, because we still need a lot of these classes right now fixed so they are viable within our new system we have. There's still a lot of classes that have lines that are really not worth running. If you look at every class, there's only 1 or 2 lines from each of them that are really good, and some classes have really 1 line, and the other lines are just going to be left alone. And I kind of hate to see that, because if you're going to have a multi-classing system, you need to be able to use any class line that you would want, anything out there, to be able to have this infinite amount of different ways you can build a character. But right now, everything's tied to certain class skill lines, and the other ones are just kind of left on the back burner. And that's kind of disappointing, and I'm hoping with all of the ways that they're looking at community feedback now and starting to talk about it more, that we get more changes to these class skill lines going down the road. And as I always say, pretty much in every video, hopefully we'll get these changes to gear sets as well, because I want them to go in and readjust these gear sets, just a few tweaks to make them all viable again. There's a lot of ways that ZOS can listen to community feedback, and I know they can't take everything or they can't do everything the community asks, but at the same time, they can try to work in some things, give some answers to why they could not do some things that the community is asking. But just a good kind of line of communication with the community is a really good sign, in my opinion. And I hope ZOS continues to do this, and I hope we continue to see good changes going forward, because subclassing is a great system, and everybody was really excited about it when it first was announced. I know there's some people on the other side that don't like it, and I understand that. But overall, I think subclassing could be a really good system, but as long as ZOS kind of gets out of the way of themselves, because a lot of times they will implement things into the game. It'll be really good for a little bit, they'll destroy it, and they move on to the next thing. It's like the next best thing is going to be it for ESO. You know what I mean? It's, every year, I feel like we go from this to this to this, and whatever we had in previous years is kind of left behind, kind of like the scribing system right now. I feel like it's just been left behind, not really even finished. I feel like it had a lot more potential than it's kind of receiving at the moment. So hopefully that does not happen with subclassing either. Leave me a comment with your thoughts. Let me know what you think about these ultimate regen kind of changes, these passives kind of being changed back to their somewhat original form. I'm glad to see ZOS walk this one back, and I'm curious to see what you think as well. If you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.